Today I'm going to be giving you 5 study tips to make you a better medical student. Now we know medical studies have 2 components, right? The content knowledge that you need to get and the practical tips to make you better in the ward. Today we're going to be going through some tips to help you get to grips with the content knowledge and studying so that you can retain things better and you'll be better in the wards as well. So the first thing you need to do if you're a medical student is set realistic expectations for your studying. Medicine is not something that you can cover in 1 or 2 weeks or even a month. Most blocks are at longest 2 months, and you can't expect that from day 1 to week 3 or even at the end of the block you'll know everything there is to know about a block. You won't know everything about a specialty because people study for 4+ years to get qualifications in that specialty. You're only there for a month or 2. Set realistic goals for yourself. Set that by the end of this I will know these chapters, or I'll know these things, or these are the basic facts that I need to know about it, and how to manage patients. And once you set realistic goals, you'll be far more likely to actually be able to achieve them and not be in a position to put yourself down because you haven't achieved this impossible goal you set for yourself, which was never going to happen anyway. The second thing is, use methods that work for you. Use whatever method actually works for you. Don't feel forced to use someone else's method because they say it works. You have many people that will say, oh, this method is the method that works. If you do other things you won't do as well. That doesn't necessarily work for everybody. Everyone's got things that work well for them and don't work as well for them. Some people study better in the morning, some people study better as a group, some people work better on their own at night. You've got to decide what works for you. Because if you're doing things based on someone else's study methods, you're not going to be learning effectively in the ways that work for you. So don't feel pressured to do what everyone else is doing. The third tip is, use your time in the wards to actually help you study. And I know that sounds counterintuitive because you're working in the wards, but remember when you're in the wards, you have tutorials, you have ward rounds, you have patients you see that have symptoms, and you can learn from all of that. If you see a patient with a certain symptom, you're far more likely to remember things about that patient than you are to remember what you studied. Or if you're on a ward round and someone's discussing something, take a little notebook with you, make notes, take notes in tutorials, and use those when you study, because you'll find that those are not just from a textbook, those are practical tips as well given to you by doctors that are working in that field and that are centered around that topic that they were actually discussing with you, so it'll help you a lot when you're actually trying to get to grips with the knowledge. Now number 4 is sort of, if you work better in a group, study with people that help you focus. Sometimes you'll work better on your own, other people will just distract you, and that's fine too. If you do find you work better in a group, make sure you find a group that you can actually work with. Now some people prefer to study the same thing at the same time, usually that's around before exam times, but during the course of a block, most people will have different things that they're studying. You may be doing the same topics, but you'll be doing different parts of the same block at the same time. So if you can find people that you can study different things with, but that you can just bounce ideas off of while you're working, that doesn't compromise your own focus, that's the ideal. That is really helpful, because then if you get stuck, you have someone to help you with it, and if other people have questions, you can benefit from the questions that they're asking, because when you cover that topic, you'll already have had the benefit of what they were doing and what you discussed as a group. And the last tip is about clinical time as well. Use your clinical time the best way you can. Remember that studying for an exam and studying to be a doctor are 2 different things. You need to get content knowledge, yes, but you also need practical knowledge. Don't sacrifice the time you have in the wards because you want to pass the exam. Do both. Try at least to do both. Use the time you've got in the wards to learn the practical skills needed to be a doctor. How to do bloods, how to take blood pressure, how to do a lumbar puncture. Learn those things while you're in the ward, and then if you do a blood test, check the result when it comes out, learn how to interpret it. Ask them if they're doing specific tests on the block that you're in. Ask them how to interpret it, what it means. Learn those things because it'll help you with the content, but it'll also give you practical skills for when you're actually being a doctor. Because at the end of the day, all that you're doing is you're trying to become a doctor in the end. You're passing the exams, but the end result is to become a doctor. So make sure you use your studying and your practical time the best way you can to make sure that you become the best doctor possible. And the last tip, it's sort of a bonus tip, is just also give yourself a break. Remember to take a breath every now and then. You can't go 100% all of the time. You're going to need to take a step back, take a breath, say, okay, I need a break now, and I'll come back to this when I can. Because not taking breaks will help you in the short term, but in the long term you'll burn out and it'll take a long time to recover from that. So try and avoid that by doing short, manageable bursts of studying and taking breaks so that you can be in this for the long haul. If you liked the video, make sure to leave a like, leave a comment down below telling me what topics you'd like to see me cover in the future, and subscribe to the channel for more medical student content knowledge and practical tips. Thanks everyone, see you next time.